She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Kyle believes in me. You never did." So I quietly cut off every dollar, every safety net, and watched her support system disappear in a week. She looked me dead in the eyes like I was just another stranger sitting across from her, not the man who'd worked 2 jobs to keep her life from falling apart. And with a calmness that somehow cut deeper than any shout ever could, she said, "Mom's new husband actually believes in me. You never did." And just like that, years of sacrifices collapsed into dust. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I didn't even let her see me flinch. I just nodded, stood up slowly from the couch, and walked into the kitchen. Not because I needed something, but because I needed somewhere to breathe where my heart didn't feel like it was caving in. She was 19, technically an adult, and I wasn't about to beg her to see me as anything more than the villain she'd apparently decided I was. But God, it stung. I'm 45, and I've raised Alyssa practically on my own since she was 5. Her mother, Trina, had walked out on us like she was stepping out to grab milk, said she needed to find herself in Bali. I didn't fight it. You don't drag someone back who's willing to leave their own child behind. I stepped up, took double shifts, skipped vacations, passed on promotions that required travel, never upgraded my car, canceled nights out. Every penny I could spare went into giving her a life that didn't feel like something was missing. And for a while I thought I'd done okay. She had what she needed and then some. Her private art school tuition, paid in full. Her therapist after that brutal high school breakup, covered without a question. That apartment near campus she wanted so badly, I co-signed the lease without a second thought. I didn't ask for anything in return.
No pras. No recognition.
I did it because that's what a parent does. Show up, again and again, quietly, no matter what. But 2 months ago, Trina came back, and this time she brought Kyle, the new husband, a man with a Tesla, a beaded necklace, and a job title that sounded like it was pulled from a self-help bingo card. Conscious masculinity mentor. Whatever that meant. He quoted Tony Robbins. Talked about frequencies and vibration alignment. Told Alyssa that I had trapped her in a fear-based reality. That I'd held her back from her true creative self. And just like that, she was spending weekends at their place. Sipping kale smoothies, doing breathwork on Instagram Live, and posting about energetic expansion, like she'd found religion in a man who had just entered her life. I stayed silent. She was grown. She could reconnect with her mom however she chose. I didn't stand in the way. But then came that dinner, at the same wooden table I had saved for months to buy her when she turned 10. And she said that line, "Kyle believes in me. You never really did." Like it was a fact she'd been waiting years to drop. Like all I ever did was clip her wings. She talked about how Kyle wanted to sponsor her to attend a creative retreat in Tulum. Said he believed in her art, in her growth, that I'd only ever caged her potential with my limiting beliefs and fear-based parenting. I didn't say much, just nodded, then told her calmly, "You're right. You're grown now, and grown people take care of themselves." She looked caught off guard, like she didn't expect that kind of agreement, like she was waiting for a fight, not acceptance. But I was done fighting for a place in her life I'd already paid for 1,000 times over. And the very next morning, while she was at yoga, realigning her third eye or whatever Kyle had her doing, I made some quiet adjustments. The apartment lease? I called the landlord and removed myself as co-signer. She could still stay, of course, but next month's rent wouldn't be covered by me. Her phone? Removed from my family plan. After all, if she was posting about breaking generational chains and finding financial freedom, it seemed only right that she fund her own wireless liberation. The health insurance? She was 19. I called the provider and took her off my plan. Not out of spite, but out of respect. She wanted independence. I wasn't going to trap her with benefits. And finally, the big one. The $10,000 I had quietly saved over months of weekends and late nights. Money meant for her design workshop in Italy next summer. I had never told her how much effort it took to save that. But I paused it. Transferred it back into my personal account.
No announcement.
No grand gesture. Just a silent shift in support. That night, she came for dinner like nothing had changed. talked about Kyle's vibration work, how he was encouraging her to let go of all fear-based attachments. I just listened, nodded when appropriate. It wasn't until 3 days later, when her rent payment bounced, that the first fireworks went off. My phone blew up. First it was Alyssa, angry, panicked, demanding answers. "You canceled my apartment? Are you serious right now?" I replied calmly, "I didn't cancel anything. I just stopped paying for it." "That's different. This is retaliation," she screamed. "I opened up to you, and you're punishing me for it." I took a breath, then said quietly, "You said you were growing past the kind of support I gave you. I'm just giving you the space to explore that." She hung up. An hour later, Trina called. Her voice was sharp enough to slice through steel. "You're being cruel. She's exploring who she is. Kyle is helping her expand. You're just jealous." Jealous? Of Kyle? A man who invented his own title, wore sunglasses indoors, and hosted webinars on polarity energy? I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Then came the email. From Kyle. For paragraphs of vague coaching jargon, accusations about trauma loops, and a PDF attachment titled, "The New Masculine Archetype." According to him, I needed to step into a higher form of fatherhood that transcends control. I deleted it without reading past the first line. A day later, Alyssa posted a reel. Black and white. Dramatic music. She wore all white, stared into the camera, and whispered phrases about breaking free from generational shackles. The caption read, "Sometimes your father isn't your family." The comments were split, some saying, "Proud of you, Queen," others saying, "Didn't your dad pay for art school?" I watched it once, logged off, not angry, just tired. She wanted freedom, so I gave it to her. And sometimes, real support doesn't look like encouragement. Sometimes, it looks like silence. About a week passed after that black and white reel before everything went quiet. No more kale smoothie selfies. No more crystal bowl healing clips. No more long-winded captions about energetic alignment, divine feminine flow, or growth through disconnection. Just digital silence. And it wasn't the peaceful kind either. It was the kind that hums with discomfort. The kind that says, loud in its absence, "Things aren't going the way I thought they would." And then, one early Thursday morning, at exactly 2:13 a.m., my phone buzzed with a message so simple, so stripped of her usual spiritual jargon, it knocked the wind out of me. Just 12 words. No emojis. No hashtags. No pretending, "Hey, is it okay if I come home for a bit?" I didn't answer right away. Not because I wanted to be cruel, but because I needed a minute. A minute to decide what kind of father I wanted to be in that moment. Did I want to lecture? Shame her? Ask for an apology? Or did I want to show her the same quiet kind of love I always had? When I finally responded, I kept it simple. Like she had. Of course. Rent's back, $300 a month. Dishes are yours. Wi-Fi comes with chores. I expected pushback. A delay. Maybe silence. But instead, just 2 minutes later, she replied, "Okay, I'll be there in the morning." And sure enough, at around 10 a.m., she arrived. Hair pulled back in a messy bun, hoodie half-zipped, a duffel bag slung over her shoulder that looked more like surrender than luggage. She didn't say much at first, just stood there in the doorway, looking at the living room like it had shrunken in her absence, or maybe she'd just grown enough to see it differently. I was making coffee, and she just watched me for a moment before taking a deep breath and stepping inside without a word. We didn't get into the details right away. There were no tearful monologues, no dramatic confessions. I just pointed to the fresh sheets I'd left folded on her bed, showed her where the laundry basket was, and let her be. That night, she came into the kitchen while I was making dinner. Something simple, pasta and sauce. She offered to help without being asked, picked up the knife, and started chopping onions like she used to when she was a teenager trying to learn her way around a cutting board. We didn't speak at first. It was the kind of quiet that feels safe, comfortable. Then, halfway through slicing an onion, she said, "Tulum didn't happen, just like that. No build-up, no justification. Turns out the retreat Kyle promised to fund came with strings. I had to enroll in his 6-week course on feminine energetics and co-host his podcast. When I asked if the money could come with no strings attached, the offer disappeared. I didn't interrupt. I just kept stirring the sauce, letting her talk without feeling like she was being interrogated. She continued, "Mom didn't push back, said it was a miscommunication, told me to trust the process." But then Kyle started getting controlling, like really controlling. He had notes on my voice, my clothes, my captions. Told me to delete my old posts because they didn't align with his brand of conscious partnership. I tried staying with them a few more nights, but everything felt off. That's when I texted you. And that was that. She was back. Not with fireworks or some big breakdown, but with the quiet honesty of someone who had finally seen the full picture for herself. We didn't need to rehash everything that had been said. We didn't need to dig up the pain. Sometimes healing doesn't come in big conversations, it comes in small acts. Like folding laundry, like chopping onions, like sitting at the table without needing to say, "I'm sorry," because the very act of being there said enough. Over the next few weeks, we built something new. Not perfect, not glossy, but real. She pays rent now, not the full market price, but enough to understand what groceries and utility bills actually cost. She does the dishes without being reminded. She wakes up early sometimes and cooks breakfast for the two of us. Other times, she just sits across from me while we drink coffee in silence. And slowly, without either of us intentionally trying, conversations started to flow again. Not about Kyle, not even about Trina, just about life, the future, what she wants to do next. She talks about wanting to teach art to kids, about maybe opening a studio one day. And I just listen, really listen, because that's what she needs right now. Not guidance, not opinions, just space. One night, a few weeks after she moved back in, she said something that stuck with me more than her first sentence ever did. We were cleaning up after dinner. She was drying a plate while I was washing a pan. And she said, "I didn't get it before. I thought you were controlling. But you weren't. You just showed up. Quietly. Always. Kay talks a lot. But you never talked. You just paid the bills. Sat through my plays. Waited in the car after therapy. You let me fail and helped me up without saying, 'I told you so.' I didn't say anything right away. Just kept scrubbing the pan. Then I nodded. That was enough. Now things are normal. And maybe that's the greatest gift either of us could have asked for. She still has dreams, but now she's building them on her own terms. She still talks about energy sometimes, but it's not preached at me anymore. And I don't hold grudges. That's not parenting. Parenting, I've learned, isn't about being right. It's not about proving you were always the better option. It's about being still when they push you away, and being there, steady and unshaken, when they realize what that kind of love really looks like. So tell me, was I too harsh for cutting her off? Or was that the wake-up call she needed? Have you ever had to let someone you love fall, just so they'd finally learn how to stand on their own? If this story hit you right in the heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. More stories like this coming soon.